I thought we'd bring it in with a little Etta James. What did you think?
I loved it. You picked one of my favorite songs. That's why I'm so in love with you two ladies.
I told
I used to sing that to my sweetie all the time.
Oh, bravo, Sonya.
well, let me just say this, okay? So when I thought about this discussion and I thought about you, Joy, and you know how much I just adore you, the first song that came to my mind with regards to you and Mr. Norman was definitely At Last. And I just could feel it in my soul that this song would connect. So I'm so excited over it. And I'm just grateful that I selected this for you. And I released the mic.
So am I, my love. And let me share with you, when you started, your volume was extremely low, and towards the end it came up a wee bit, so you might need to adjust it. But thank you. That was brilliant and lovely.
Yay! So, look, it's 5 o'clock on the dot here. So, let me introduce this beautiful space. I have to tell you now, excuse me, is Norman going to be on a different phone or Joy? Is he on the phone with you?
He's on the phone with me.
Okay, perfect. All right, no problem. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Authentic Love Academy. We are here in this dynamic space. You saw how we birthed this space and brought it to life because we literally have brought this in here so you can feel the energy at last. April has been hosting the Loving Month for June, and tonight, ooh, she saved the best for last. I have to tell you, not technically the last, but I have to say this is the best. But by far, please make sure that you come all the way up to the top of the club. Click the word Authentic Love. Make sure you give the club a follow. Hit the bell so you're notified each and every time a new room is birthed in this place, because I tell you, the discussions we have in here are dynamic. And on top of everything else, we're here every single Tuesday from 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure that you're following the moderators or anyone that resonates with you, because social currency goes a long way. With that being said, my name is Sonya LaRae. I'm a lifestyle relationship counselor, fashion psychologist, educator, motivational speaker, but by far, I'm honored to be the co moderator with the one and only April the Loveologist. I release the mic to you.
Thank you, awesome lady, Miss Sonya. I am the excited April the Loveologist. I'm a certified dating coach and author and your host right here at the Authentic Love Academy. I have made it my life's mission to help highly ambitious professionals who desire to be in an interracial relationship to attract their special someone who will become their forever partner. So, if you need my assistance, lean into me. I will certainly be there to catch you. So, what I want to do first is this. I just want to say thank you. Thank you to all of you for coming. Thank you, Joy and Norman, for agreeing to be interviewed. And thank you to my wonderful co host, Miss Sonya LaRae, for assisting me in pulling off this event that we have had such a wonderful time doing. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. You know, we're going to get right into things. Sonya, Joy, and I have worked together on a few projects, and I have just felt honored to be able to work with such high caliber women, because these two are powerhouses. But Norman, let me tell you, I am excited about being able to meet you, and I can't wait to meet you guys in person as well. So again, thank you for joining us here.
Glad to be here.
Awesome, awesome. So let's start this way. Joy and Norman, can you tell us some things about yourselves and how you met?
Okay, do you want me to do it? We met. I was doing some consulting work for a firm that she was working with, and I took her over to understand
The business.
the insurance business. That's how we met.
Yes, that is exactly how we met. And the truth of the matter is, when Norman walked through the door for this company that I was consulting with, he was a dapper Dan. He had on the bow tie and the, the chain watch and the hat with the feather and the vest and the wingtip shoes that I could freshen up my lipstick on. And I said, oh my God, this is a man for me. I had no idea. And he'd been to the commercial, what would you call it? What did you used to call that place that you went to? the
Comical,
the
drug and comical.
the drug and comical club, and he'd had a few martinis, so he was in good spirits. And he came over and he said, hey little girlie, nice to meet you, how you doing, you liking it here, blah blah blah. And that's how we met. How do you like that story? It's a true one. They all will be.
Oh my, I am over here just flipping out. That sounds wonderful. That sounds wonderful. Now, how long have you guys been married?
We have been married forever. We have been together forever. It's been for more years than we want to think about. But let me tell you this, it's not the number of years, it's how great the years have been. At least I feel that way. But then my husband, Norman, I'm going to give this phone to him because you know what he's going to tell you? We've been together forever and a lifetime, and we've had one good year. How about that, Norman?
Yeah, I don't know which one it was, but one of them was pretty good.
We've been together a long time. I can't remember a time when I wasn't with Norman, and we don't count the years. The years aren't important. We've been together forever and hope to be in the next life and the next life, whether you believe it or not. Yes. What's next?
So, how long had the final law been passed for that legalized interracial marriage? How long had that law been enacted before you guys got married?
I have no idea.
We have no
Didn't
clue.
even know there was such a law.
We had no clue. We just met, fell in love, liked, had high regard and respect for one another, and we decided, boom. And there's a very convoluted story here, but no, we didn't even think about all that stuff. You know, they say that when you're in love, you don't really see color, and that's so ridiculous. How can you not see color? It doesn't matter. And I, after a while, realized that because I'm from this old Southern background. And I mean, Norman being a Caucasian guy at the time, that was the terminology. I didn't even want to take him home. I didn't even want Momsy to know that this is who I was dating. But he, as he did with me, he wooed her and she fell in love with him. So we don't even know about the law you're talking
She
about.
liked me better than her.
Now, was this your first time to date someone who was not from your culture?
Yes.
Yeah.
Both of us. Both of us.
So tell me this. Since this was your first time, and obviously when you guys got married, although you guys weren't paying attention to the law, people outside of your relationship and definitely outside of your family were paying attention to whether the law was going or not. So, what made you decide that you were okay and it was worth taking the risk?
Well, I never even knew there was a risk. So and I was in the risk business. So I just don't know when it happened. If you could tell me the year that was no longer allowed, has to go back 30 years or so. Oh.
The final law that legalized the last 16 states was in 1967.
Oh, it was well after that.
You know, it's very interesting the question, April, because in point of fact, my Norman, one of the reasons he said we weren't even aware of the law or whatever, but we were aware of it. We were in New York City, mind you, the heart of everything, more or less, whether you love it or not. And it was supposed to be the most liberal and progressive. In some ways it was not, so we got a lot of stares and people looking and so on and so forth. But Norman was completely, and this is one of the many reasons that my heart completely went over to him, he was oblivious to all of this. I would be seeing and feeling and so on, and it made no difference to him. I was still his queen, and that's exactly how he treated me. So how could you not fall in love with somebody like that? And now I'm not sugarcoating all of this because we have our moments, we have our times, but yet we have the highest regard and respect for one another. So we didn't know about the law.
See, that is so awesome that you say that, Joy, because it's one of the things that I really try to instill in people who are in intercultural relationships or want to get into them is that your focus needs to be on each other. And you need to make sure you get that bond very strong with each other because really the drama is outside your relationship. And you need to have that strong bond and your focus on each other and knowing each other so that you can deal with the outside stuff when it does come up.
Well, we've never had to deal with any diversity that was unpleasant.
Tell her about the time you went to look for the apartment in New
Oh,
York. This is
yeah.
what you'll love this story.
What we went after we decided to get together. We went to look for an apartment in the city, and went and I went met with the real estate people, and I told them, okay, this apartment looks rather nice. It was up in the mid 70s on the east side, and I said, but I want my wife to see it before I sign the papers. So the next day, I brought Joy with me, and they told me the apartment had been rented
before we even got through the door.
So that was the first, and I may say only time I really recognized that we were being discriminated against. Other than that, never felt anything.
Yeah. How about that?
Wow, you guys are certainly blessed. Very, very blessed. Okay, now who's going to tell us this? How did he propose?
Oh, this is a good story. April, I'm loving you. Sonya, you're taking all this in. I would love to answer that, but I'm going to ask my husband to answer this because we have totally different takes on this. Because the reality is what, Norman?
Well, we've known
But
I each other for several years, and she most likely said, if we're going to stay together, you better marry me or something like that. And I said, okay. It didn't matter to me. So we got married.
That's how it happened, except that he makes it covers it over a wee bit. I had said, you know what, I'm not going to stay like this. I want, because remember, I'm from an old Southern background. And even though I was independent and on my way to freedom and all that other wonderful stuff, I also had that other thinking behind me. And I'm saying, you know, I'm with this guy and we're really together and so on. So we need to be. And so I asked him to marry me. That's the reality. And he said yes. He didn't blink an eye. He said yes. And then boom, we did it. 100 years ago. That's the story.
I'm sorry. I am
Wow.
just loving you all over here. I am in like total love.
We are too. Nah, we have been blessed. April used the right word. It's not the best time for us now, but we're making the best of it. And let me tell you, this thing about the knight in shining armor, well, ours is rusting a wee bit, but it's still a knight.
I've gone blind.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you want to know something? It's blinded with love, in all honesty. And
Mm.
what you hear is that authentic love coming across because how you both are elevating each other, you're pouring into each other. I always say that we get to be the receptors of everything. We get to be the vessel that gets to hold certain elements. And what you enjoy are placing in here today. And I always say that what you deposit in me I get to really grow upon. So I love it and thank you both.
Well, thank you, because what you just spoke to is what Norman and I spoke to this briefly when April asked the question some time ago. We not only the love, that's a given, but we have such respect for one another. We have such high regard for one another. Yes, we do have our little disagreements and our little arguments, and then we start to laugh with each other
She
because
always wins.
because we have such regard for each other. We respect and we trust each other implicitly. That's almost rare, isn't it? Yeah, but not when you really find someone that tells you. Like Norman is the only one who began to say to me after we started dating for the first time about all the words that I was mispronouncing. He said, "You're so beautiful. You just need." But I don't know, remember how. But he's the only one who was bold and courageous enough to support me in the development of me. Who doesn't want that? I did. So it's been good. Have I been good to you, Norman? Yep.
This is just too good, just too good. We are, some of us, well, I can't say us young folks because I am not much younger than you, but some people.
So I'll say it for you, us young folks.
We're young in spirit. We're young in our aspirations and all of that good stuff. We will be forever young, not youthful, but forever youthful, not young. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. But so many of us, particularly women, we are out here running around worrying about whether we should say that to the man or not. And I'm like, Joy, you just made a decision. Put your foot down and put it out there, and probably didn't even blink when you said it.
I didn't. I was just ready. If he had said no, I was walking. So I think he probably knew that because the other thing about Norman is Norman knows me better than anyone, even my sister and my other relatives. He just knows me. How do you know someone? I don't know. But he knew that if he didn't say yes, I was on my way out. And he didn't want me to go, and neither did I. I didn't want to go. So it turned out well.
But you know what? But you had to have your boundary up there. You had to have your standard there.
Exactly. Standards are important. And don't forget this old Southern background. Standards mean a lot, even today. And that's why I do the work that I do, because so many of us as women, we have just dropped the ball. So it's time to get back to, it's never going back to what it was, but we can have a meeting of the mind, so to speak. Yeah, definitely.
I am really talking with the mic closed. Um, Joyce, since you brought up about the work that you do, why don't the two of you go ahead and tell us what type of works you do right now? Tell us where they can find you, participate in what you're doing, and all that good stuff. Work your commercial.
All that good stuff. Well, as someone who really advocates and champions and empowers women, I'm all about women who show up as the best of them, styles that fit them. Because somehow in the fashion business, which I love, and I know Sonya loves it too many have been riding around in the bubble for much too long. And knowing who you are and how to dress to show up as a professional that you mentioned when we started out, April, highly professional. You want to show up that way when you're in business, no matter what type of business. So I'm working, women hire me to amp up their wow factor because unfortunately, for all the numerous reasons, no time to go into here, too many have dropped the ball. But we want to know that being overwhelmed and confused and that anxiety and never feeling confident and at ease with what you have on, that's what I'm working with women to erase. So that's where, and you can find me everywhere. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, I'm on my own Facebook business page, everywhere. So finding me is not an issue. And I do workshops every 8 weeks. I'm getting ready to do one now here on July the 28th. And I invite women to come in and gather information that will benefit them as they go into the work that they're about in the highest professional manner. That's it, bottom line. And Norman, was an accountant, CPA, and everything else, but now he just kind of advises me here, there, and about because he's retired and doesn't want to really get involved. So that's it.
Well, Joy, you are welcome to put your link back there in the chat so that it would be available for people. I do love working with you. I do love the projects that we have done, coming into your rooms here on Clubhouse, listening to your lives on Facebook, leading ladies, leaving legacies. Yes, Lord, I am just thrilled and excited to to actually be there and participate in all of that good stuff. It's just awesome. Just
Thank
awesome.
thank you, thank you. And I'm glad you brought that because sometimes I forget. I have two groups. And one is Leading Ladies Leaving Legacies, which is my Facebook group. And there everything stems from. But I'm also, because of the pandemic, I started Biz to Biz with Joy. And I bring in men and women who want to share their journey and get more out into the stratosphere. Because my belief, and I'd love to hear April, you and Sonia, what you feel. I don't think one can have too much promotion, publicity, advertising, marketing. You just can't have too much because every market will be different and you never know what person from that market will come about. So I'm always looking for people to interview, to take their message out, and there's a lot more involved, but everything is on my website and I secure a marginal fee, and believe me, it's marginal. I did my homework, but it's worth it because my assignment is to put you in the spotlight and showcase what you do and how you serve others. So thank you for bringing that up, April. Appreciative. Back to you.
Oh, I just love what all you do, and your personality and your warmth and all of that great stuff. And Norm, I just can't wait to meet you in person. I'm telling you.
Well, if you see an old man walking along the street, that's me. Oh,
Norman has a great personality. He woos the women everywhere he goes. Let me tell you. Tell him about all the girlfriends you have.
well, I'm getting married today.
He can't tell us that because his girlfriend is listening on, I hear.
Ah,
Yeah. Norman goes out to lunch every day with his cronies and he comes back and every it's always a story and conversation. Today he came back and he says, "Well, I'm engaged again. I'm getting married." The waitress was so great and so accommodating, and he fell in love and left him a big tip and so on and so forth. But you know what? It's fun. It's fun. If they looked at him too close, he'd run away.
So let me ask you, what is something that you feel that really kind of draws you two so close together? Because I hear such the bond, and I love it because I think the biggest thing, and I'm not going to say it, because what I hear I think is something that connects you even beyond just that level of love. But what is that?
okay. First of all, I'm in love with this woman, and I try to show her that, and she reciprocates. Uh, as I said, we've grown old together, and that helps a great deal. And she knows what I'm going to say before I say it, and I her. So we have a relationship that most people couldn't could never get.
Mm-hmm.
We just nuts over one another. That's all.
Mm. How about that, ladies? And let me
I
also add to
love
that.
that.
Let me add to that, and I can say this in front of him because we've laughed about this before. Before I met Norman, and I say this in love because now I know everything that comes to you, it comes to you to give you as opposed to take. There were a lot of kind of like people and guys that I might have dated that I said, ugh. When I met Norman, the respect was there because I saw that he was a quality guy in every way and a real gent. And I had been told about that and heard about that and read about that, but I never kind of really met one yet. And then the other thing that goes with that, this is the truth for me, and I don't know how it ends, but Norman has never ever lied to me. His integrity excels or lines up with mine, and that's very important to me. Integrity and loyalty, and we have that for each other. That's very major in any relationship, and especially in an interracial relationship. Does that answer your question?
Oh, by far does it ever. And I think the other thing is that it just shows that you have really built that strong foundation, because once you have integrity and you have that honesty, there's so much that is fortified within that. And so, how do you all keep the passion alive?
We laugh a lot. Norman, I wish you could hear it here and see it. He has a real great, wired, dry sense of humor. And I can be prancing around here doing things, and he'll say something that will just crack me up, because sometimes in love, I get a little not full of myself, not in when I'm out and about, but I get a little pissed off, a little what up, and he'll just say something that really has me cracking up, lets me see the ridiculousness in it. And that's a gift. And I do the same for him, I think. He's rolling his eyes.
He said no comment. I love it.
Oh.
You know what? April, I turned the mic over to you. If you want me to reset, just let me know.
I know you got a few more questions too. So, do you want to do questions first or reset? Whatever works for
You know
you.
what? Let's reset. We're right here at this marker, so this is a good place for us to reset. So, listen, everyone, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are so honored to have the one and only Mr. and Mrs. Joy and Norman Ruffin Oak in the in the house today, because this is all about Loving Month, and April has brought this month in on fire. She saved this couple. Oh, the best for last. I always say, you always bring your good wine out. Everybody wants it in the beginning. Honey, save it to the end. It's great. Listen, make sure that you are following the club. Come all the way up to the top. Click the word Authentic Love. Hit the bell so you're notified each and every time that a brand new discussion is birthed in this space, because you hear the dynamics that goes on in here. You don't want to miss it. We're here every Tuesday night from 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, depending on where you are. But we would love to have you be a part of this conversation. If you have a question for this dynamic couple, feel free to join us on stage. All we ask is that you simply have a little something in your bio with a live social media link to your Instagram page, so we can keep this a safe zone, because we respect and honor everyone's opinion, and we make sure that we conduct ourselves with dignity and grace, and we give respect. But also make sure that you share the club out into the hallway so others can come in and hear this interview. This couple is just dropping and depositing so much in here for us. And let me tell you, they're not dropping anything, because as I always tell everyone, we do deposits because when you drop things, that means it has no value. But we definitely have value, and that is what Joy and Norman are giving to us. Dynamic jewels, beautiful offerings in here of love and respect. Oh my goodness. My name is Sonya LaRae. I'm a lifestyle relationship counselor, fashion psychologist, educator, and motivational speaker, but by far I'm honored to be the co moderator with the owner of this fabulous club, Miss April, the LOVEologist. April, I release the mic to you.
Thank you so much, my wonderful co-mod. Yes, everyone, I am the excited April, the loveologist. I'm a certified dating coach and author and your host right here at the Authentic Love Academy. I have made it my life's mission to help highly ambitious professionals who desire to be in an interracial relationship attract their special someone who will become their forever partner. So if you need my assistance, just lean into me, because I will certainly be there to catch you. Today we have Joy and Norman joining us, sharing all of this good juiciness about relationships, love, and everything. Those last few comments in there, mm. You know, so many of us, as we get older, because of what happened in the past in relationships, we are typically blocking all or some part of our heart from love. We won't open up, we won't let ourselves be loved. But you know what? I have found in an interracial, intercultural relationship like Joy and Norman's, if you will open yourself up, you can have the joy of a lifetime. You can have wonderfulness and all kinds of good, I just say juicy stuff. I just appreciate all the great comments, all the great comments. So tell me, Do you have children, a blended family? How do you work these things?
Oh. Norman, do you have children?
I have 4 children from a prior marriage.
And I have none. We have none.
Together, we have none.
So let me ask you, Joy, was it challenging to blend the family, or was it just as easy as the rest of your relationship?
It wasn't as easy as the rest of my relationship, but it wasn't difficult at all because the 4 kids are really well. They were raised, that word raised, upbringing, in the right way. So they had high regard and respect for their dad, and so that carried over to me. Of course, there was a little bit of check her out initially, and then when they saw after being around me for a while that I like your word highly ambitious, but yet I was also lovable and I had a heart and all of that good stuff. I have no issues with any of his 4 kids. None of them. Not a one. They are they are kids that anybody would be proud of. Yes. No issue there whatsoever. And you mentioned highly ambitious professional people. I know you know the statistics, but most interracial marriages now with the dating services and all, you meet people in your work environment, whether you stay or go or whatever, but that still holds true because it's people who are in their own fashion climbing up whatever ladder they're climbing. So yeah, no children, but he has 4.
Sounds like you spoil the children, Joy.
Not me, not no, I don't spoil anybody except Norman. No, I didn't spoil the children at all, not at all. No.
So when you guys were dating, you decided to get married and stuff. I know he said that you were working for a company and he was working for a company, but were you
No.
at the height of your I'm sorry, say that again?
I own the company.
Oh,
No,
excuse me.
here I think the way you mentioned it first, a little confused. The company that I went to work for when I left the fashion industry was a commercial insurance company. Norman had retired. He had retired at an early age, and then he decided after a year or so of retirement that he had too much energy and he had to get back to work. But while he was in retirement and consulting with the firm that I went to work for, that's where I met him. And then after that, he started his own business and took it from a peanut to a walnut. So he developed his own. And it was
Ooh.
very specialized and very stressful, but he did a darn good job. And hey, he's doing what he's doing. I think that's where she got confused.
Yeah.
The way we mentioned it. Does that clear?
Yeah. Thanks for clearing my head up. Thanks.
No, we didn't express it clearly in the beginning, but that's the way it went. He retired at an early age and decided retirement is not for me, and decided to build his own business, which he did. And then, oh, there's so much juice here. You know that word juicy? Then I went to work. Oh, tell about when I went to work for you and then you fired me.
Oh.
Oh my.
Oh, I love those
Oh,
stories.
yeah.
Do tell.
What? She didn't come in one day. So I left her a message on her phone that she didn't have to come in anymore. She was fired. And I come in on Monday, and who's there but Joy? I said, "You were fired. Didn't you get the message?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "But I'm here anyway." Oh, and we just went on from there.
I love that story because there's so much to it. But yes, it's true. That says I don't take no for an answer.
So, did I get this part straight? It sounds like you both might have been building your career at the same time.
No, I had already. Um, uh, oh God, uh, I was the chief financial officer of one of the large conglomerates,
Ooh.
and I decided to retire at an early age, uh, and I took about a year, and then decided to go back and start my own business, which was what they call wet marine insurance. And it was people that shipped product from all over the world to the United States and vice versa. It's a quite specialized insurance product. And so people from all over the world used to call me to get advice on how to do that type of insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I hired Joy into, and she hated it.
I love you. Hated the job.
So I was in a specialized insurance business.
Coffee, tea, and something.
Yeah, I did. If you had a cup of tea, I made some money, and or if a cup of coffee, I made some money because I insured most of the tea that came into the country and about a third of the coffee. So I did fairly well.
Wow. I was an insurance agent once upon a time as well, so I understand what you're talking about there.
Good.
Yeah.
Sonia, come on with the rest of your 500 questions.
Now, why do I have to have 500? We know I normally have a million, but this is the thing. What one quality do you admire in each other?
One quality. Oh, there's so many, but the one that really keeps me up and alive and well is Norman's humor. I love his humor. His humor just blows me away. I mean, he has so many qualities. I mentioned integrity and all of that, but the humor keeps us really popping and hopping. It really does for me. I don't know what his answer would be.
I've been told that I have to do things, and I do it.
So you follow directions well. So, what is something that you would impart to younger couples that are embarking on a relationship that is even in or looking at an interracial relationship? What is something that you would impart to them?
um, Look at the relationship in the same way you would any other relationship. Don't let the uh, color barrier stand in your way.
Or the culture.
Uh, well, the whole
Yeah.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
So just, it doesn't matter. It really is insignificant to the overall being. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's about it.
And Joy, what would you tell someone?
And what was the question again? What was the
I'm
question?
sorry, I was trying to come off mute. What would you tell a young couple that is interested or embarking on a relationship that's in an interracial relationship? What is
I-
something that you would
I-
impart to them?
They should be able internally to
Feel.
recognize it,
Yeah.
and they don't have to be told. Anything we could tell them would be insignificant.
Mm. I hear what you're saying, and I get the question too. But I would say that first off, what Norman is saying, what you feel, go on that. But also know that when you have your times when you disagree or you're not as lovey-dovey as you want to be or wish to be or desire to be, hold tight and stay, because it's so easy to walk away from anything, and it's much more commendable when you stay and walk through whatever it is that you're dealing with. That's what I would say. Because you know as well as I do that most relationships today, and April, they don't last very long because people just say, oh, what the HELL, and they go the first little disagreement. That's not a good relationship. So I would say learn to communicate. That's the thing that Norman and I have too. Even when we're arguing, and we do, and we start laughing with each other most times about the same time, because we can communicate what we feel and what we think and how we are seeing or viewing something. That's so major. And Norman is the first one Norman's that I've had that kind of relationship with, because I love to disagree with people, but still to stay friends. So that would be the advice, if that makes any sense, Sonia, too. I would give: stay around and let it mull through your thinking, and give it 24 hours, 48, and then go back and review whatever, because nothing is ever as bad as it might seem.
I love that.
Does that?
I love it because it's true. And we always speak, and Joy, we are communicators.
Yeah.
And so in turn, a lot of times that is the biggest obstacle that so many couples have, is that level of communication and even understanding each other's communication styles. As you all developed in your relationship and when you first met, and I love the story. I tell you one thing, it is so endearing to hear the connection, to hear how you all met. I already have a love for you all. And Mr. Norman, you don't know me, but I tell you, I love you just as much as I love Joy. I tell you right now, I told Joy, she's stuck with me, so are you. So, but to say that is to say this. You all have, I'm originally from New York, and I always say that we're from the melting pot of all states, because every culture is represented there.
Right.
But I think a lot of times when we look at it, and we look at different things in relationships, I know even from me and my husband, because we're an interracial couple, there was differences in our culture that we had to get used to with each other. And even as far as it goes with the food, was there anything that you had to adapt to with each other?
Well, Joy doesn't cook, so we don't have to worry about the food.
I love it.
So we only eat out.
But you know what I can add to that, though, and this is really a good aside because it's connected, and that is that one of the many, many, many connections and alignments that Norm and I have is that we both love to eat, to dine. Dining, which is almost passe these days. I remember, Sonia, what you said about you and your family sit down every night at the dinner table to have dinner. And that's something that Norman had in his family. That's something that I had in mine. And we took up and felt right away initially that we love to go out and dine, not just to have dinner and eat, to dine. And we both like to experiment with different cuisines. So that was another big connection for us. Would you agree, Norman?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There was one restaurant, a la Fourchette, on
Yes.
a restaurant row in New York that she would go into and could get anything she wanted. They never bothered her because they knew I'd come in and take care of everything.
Yeah, it was a high-end five-star
It
restaurant.
was a very nice restaurant.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Which restaurant was that, Joy?
What was that?
What was the name of the restaurant again?
a
They're
la Fourchette.
yeah, they're extinct now.
Ah, they're no longer around, but they are
Yeah,
very well known.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. They
Great
were on
food.
47th Street there.
The theater row. Yeah.
Yeah. And the young man across the street, Angelo, was the parking, and he'd
Yeah.
always have my car ready for me.
Here's a good story. You guys will love this story. And Norman, you won't tell it, but I will. This guy, Angelo, who was a parking attendant across the street from this fabulous five-star exclusive restaurant, and we would go there once or twice a week. And he would park Norman's car and take good care of it. And so after about a year or so, Norman, being Norman, said to the guy, why don't you get your wife and allow Joy and I to take you to dinner? And we'll take you here to Oliver Shed. Well, the guy almost, she did what? You know what? But he said, oh, and he said, yes. And we took them to dinner. And you know what? You never know. Don't make assumptions about people. He was a parking attendant, but she was in medical school to become a doctor. Can you believe this story? And she was from the Dominican Republic. I love this story. And Norman took them together and to dinner, and we took them to dinner. We had wine. We had the best time, and we lost connection. But let me tell you, this is my Norman. This is why I love him so much. Isn't that a great story, guys?
It's beautiful, but see, that
Wow.
is what brings forth everything. That's why when you gave the story and when you're saying this is how we can feel that love and what connects us to make things even real. Like I said, I just love you all, period. And then to hear the level that you all have as a couple, it makes you really want to step your game up. And I know even for myself, like, I invest in my marriage and my relationship. And I feel like when you have fine examples like yourself and Mr. Norman, it's something that makes you want to keep doing and striving to be better. because once you can see it, you can feel it, you can touch it, you know you're able to achieve it. So I just celebrate you both. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, thank you, and I'm happy that you're in love with my Norman, and I'll share him with you.
Well, thank you so much. I'll take him every third Friday.
Well, Joy, now I know why you and I have such kindred spirits. I don't cook either.
No, she does not cook either. No, that's so true.
You know what? It's fascinating because Norm met my mother when she came up after we were married, and she took over the kitchen and she just cooked and baked everything. And Norman was dining like a king. Well, he's a king anyway. And he said, "What happened? You didn't teach your daughters how to cook?" And Norman has another favorite story that he tells about. And no, I don't cook. And I love to dine. I love to dine. But where we moved into another fabulous apartment in New York City with a gourmet kitchen. And you know what that's like, Sonya. And so here we are. And I decided, okay, I'm going to cook Christmas. No, was it Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner? And what happened?
She set the building on fire.
I love it. I love it, Joy. That was your sign that you should never touch another stove.
Let me tell you the whole story. We were in this new apartment. It was about a year and a half we had been in it.
Mm-hmm.
And she turned the oven on, and all the paperwork instructions were still in the oven when she turned it up.
Ouch!
And they went on fire when she opened up the oven, and we had to call the police, the fire department. Oh.
It wasn't funny then. It's funny now.
Oh.
I'm sorry, that is just priceless. I always think about the first time that my mom did a turkey and the turkey looked like it exhaled. Like we was like, what happened to it?
April, I'm happy to hear that you don't cook either because the other thing, I was waiting for a guy where I wouldn't necessarily have to learn. I mean, I can cook, but I don't enjoy it at all. And Norman said,
"You can cook."
He just gave me a look.
He said, "No, please, let's not rewrite this." He said, "Let's not rewrite it."
Oh, this is cracking me up. This is
Well,
fun,
this
guys.
is the thing. I am a cook. I love to cook. Matter of fact, it's kind of like my entertainment. And my husband is so spoiled that he has a hard time going out to eat anywhere. And he tells people, "You're gonna cook for us tonight." Oh, okay. And then he'll say, "Are you gonna make something so when we get home I can eat?" Oh,
I think it's another skill. It's another art, and I just love. I mean, women who cook and love to cook. Boy, are they good cooks. I didn't get that gene, so bless you, son. April and
Really?
I and be over for dinner, and April.
look, I better. I'll make dinner for all of us. That'll be the deal. When we all get together, I'll be the cook. It's no problem.
Hey, what can I say? And just know that all three of us here, we're working to do everything that we can to advocate, to champion and empower women. And we're all looking for men, husbands like mine and like Sonia's and April, the work that you're doing for people to connect with the right partner. Again, kudos to you. And may I say, as always, it's my pleasure to spend time and space with you. Always sending you much, much love and all the best. Norman, you want to say so long to the ladies?
Goodbye, ladies.
Oh, Norman, Mr. Norman, it was great meeting you. I'm honored to say that I got to hear your voice, to hear the story, to hear how you connected. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you.
This has just been over the top. Over the top.